Hello, everyone. Welcome to Voting with Your Life, a podcast by Eurodesk for the European Youth Portal. I'm Lexi, we have Hike, and we are talking with Dana today. Dana, very welcome. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And I will ask the question that Ike always asks because I think it's a really sweet question. Um, Tell us who are you, where you come from, where you are, and what's your story?
Oh, each answer for these questions might be pretty long, but
Mhm.
okay. So yeah, my name is Dana. This is a chosen name. I'm one of the 10 children of a very religious woman. I grew up at the north of Poland, at the Baltic seaside, in Gdańsk, actually in Sopot. And where I am right now, I'm in Warsaw because I just moved back from Belgium yesterday, actually. I'm
Oh,
coming back to Berlin because Berlin is my home, but I've been working for the summer in Belgium because I realized that if you really want to have money, like in Germany is not, like I don't know. The more west you go, the more money they have. I realized from my like Eastern European perspective, uh, and who I am, I'm I'm a trans woman, or rather like non-binary trans femme person. And yeah, I knew that quite early, but pretty late learned how to actually talk about that. Um, where else I can say? And what's my story? You mean the story of emigration, right? Or
now, in
Whatever
general,
you'd like to
everything you'd
share.
like to share. The
ah,
the episode is about the voting with your life part. So in the context of why do you choose to move from one place to another? If it's like more political reasons, personal reasons, etc. But we'd like to know you as a whole. So it's more about, for example, you said you are like one of 10 children, right?
yeah, I'm one of the 10 children, one of the second oldest one. My older
Okay.
sister is a lesbian, so it's quite funny because like the Holy Bible says that the poisoned tree brings poisoned fruits, and like somehow the two oldest children of my mom are queer. And when she was like blaming me for that, I was like, "Girl, like, do you think that anyone who has like a piece, like a drop of oil in their brain, would choose to be attracted to men like voluntarily? Like, this is because of your sin, and like, leave me alone." But yeah, I knew about myself being queer very early. I don't know, I was 12, or like I was 7 years old when I realized that actually this is a masculine body that like makes me like get weird inside when I was 7 and saw something in the TV. Um, and yeah, and like I got my first boyfriend when I was 17, and like we immediately started to dream about living abroad. We were like completely sure that like there is no place for such people like us in Poland, even though like our surroundings were quite accepting. I mean, our high school and our friends group and our teachers and like some people from our environment. Um, and like today, like we're still best friends, even though we broke up 10 years ago, and we both live abroad. Um, and growing up as a like back then I was identifying as gay boy. uh Now I'm far away from this label, but like 10 or 15 years ago, growing up in Poland, you didn't have such terms like non-binary or demisexual, or like
Mhm.
we have also something like systemic erasure of bisexuality. So anytime like some boy who is into men will tell you that he's bisexual, everyone will be, you're just too ashamed to say you are gay. um, so growing up was like quite difficult, I must say. Like I was very religious. I like Jesus Christ was my first boyfriend. Like I set the status on Facebook when I was 14 that I'm in a relationship, and like all my schoolmates were like mocking me that this person doesn't exist because I didn't write who that was. And I was like,
Mhm.
they do exist, and I really wanted to be a priest. So then when I met the boy that I became partners with in high school, then I had to break up with Jesus, and it was like a long and terrible breakup.
Oh.
Um, Um, yeah. So the story of immigration, like when it happened, because like every year, like after an academic year on studies already, I was wondering if it wouldn't be easier to just move abroad for different reasons. But like, yeah, as I mentioned, like identities that were like accessible, like they weren't satisfying in a way that like I always had to like do a bit of camouflage or like still
Hmm.
perform to like be accepted as the thing I want to be. And I guess the moment that was like quite turning was the moment when I finally came out as non-binary, like in the age of 25, uh, and started to like put some accent into how I like started to manifest it through how I looked like. And that was the time in Poland when the right wing rhetorics like got like more intense. That was the second cadency of government formed by right wing parties,
Hmm.
mostly Peace and Justice, and that was the moment when the like former president was. I guess he signed it, like the Declaration of Family or something like that, like anti-gender administrative resolution that would like actually ban research on queerness and like actually mentioning queerness explicitly in like anything that is that operates on state money. And like earlier, like I was like fueled by ambitions to be an artist and a researcher and so on. And like you can imagine that this is always dependable on grants you will apply for and like hopefully get. Uh,
Hmm.
so we're of course protesting that, and during one of the peaceful protests, like the police brutality like made me like gave me a sleepless night after all, and I've been searching for tickets wherever, like out of Poland, and I found like one-way ticket to Canada for like €100, and I was like, okay, this is the sign from God that I should go away from here.
Mhm.
Um,
And did you go?
no, because my flight was cancelled because of COVID.
Oh.
But
Oh.
the idea of because that was like the first couple of months of pandemic.
Hmm.
But anyways, like the plan B was moving to Berlin, and I anyways moved to Berlin like 2 months before my flight because I hoped I would catch like a better job or something, to make some better savings, to have some, yeah. I was about to claim a refugee status in Canada because like the things that are like that happened to me, like this is not like super tragic, but like police violence and some like court trials for activism and also just being violated on the street by like homophobic people. Like
Hmm.
this is enough to claim a refugee status in Canada. Also, like women from Poland can actually claim a refugee status because our healthcare system doesn't allow at this point almost any abortion,
Hmm.
uh, which is like also a threat to life. But yeah, it didn't happen. I had to stay in Berlin, and that was like a very difficult period because uh, like there was no way to find a job or settle down, and Berlin's constantly overpopulated by people like me, like people who don't fit to too many boxes and don't have too many resources. Um, so yeah, but oh, now it's like sort of an anniversary, like fifth or sixth anniversary fifth of
Of
living
moving to
in
Berlin?
Berlin. Yeah, of moving to Berlin.
Okay.
Like
All
not
right.
not now, but like it was late summer, early autumn.
Mhm. About Poland. So you said that they passed a bill that would remove funding from anything that was like state run and eventually applied to the arts and research as well. There is one thing I learned about Poland some years ago, and I think I'm correct in saying it's over now, which were the LGBTQ free zones. So zones where people that are queer were not allowed. When did that happen, and how did you feel about it? How did it impact you in real life?
Mm, just at the moment when I was anyways planning to leave. So for me it was like another nail like put into this
In the coffin.
coffin. Um, And that was pretty intense. That was pretty intense. But like it was like a, I think passed by local governments. So like some small villages or certain cities or neighborhoods would pass it, but it was like yeah, very very like spontaneous and local thing. And I grew up in the big agglomeration at the north. Then I moved to Warsaw, so these are like a bit different realities than east-west rural Poland, because I guess that was the main center for these LGBT-free zones. And this fueled a lot of anger also from abroad, and like quite some visibility for our struggle. But like this was accompanied by a lot of other things, like the arrest of Margot, like a trans femme activist who was who destroyed a few of buses, like as we say, like buses with like homophobic, anti-abortion slurs printed on them, and like driving around the cities and like playing from speakers some about gays being pedophiles and so on and so on. And
Mhm.
when she got arrested, like many of us went out to the streets, and like that was the time that like for hanging a rainbow flag on a monument in public, you would get a fine. Um, so that was the like the LGBT free zones. It was something really far away from me, but like police brutality and like streets of Warsaw turned into a stage, like into a scenery uh, for this like weird performance of power from the state and then performance of resistance from us, but it was far away from being glorious. It was quite painful, but that was the moment when we could see who is our ally, because like many like gender conforming people would also go out on the streets. um, and it was summer, and then by the autumn government passed anti-abortion bill. Actually, they made their way around with using the constitutional court to do that. And by then, I was already in Berlin, but like the anger that was boiling earlier, like suddenly popped up, and like I think like it was like the biggest alliance after like Solidarność times in Poland when these abortion protests started. And like the same collectives and the same people who were like organizing protests earlier suddenly uh, were doing also this. And yeah, as we talk about migration and stuff, like one of the main slogan of this time of the black protests, as we call them, was that the revolution of care is happening now. And what we were doing both during like the rain, like after the rainbow night, as we call it, and then during the black protests, we realized that we can't count on state as the body that could protect us anymore. Or, like, we were never protected. We were always denied our like some of essential rights. Um, and one like another slogan that was like moving us to shout on the streets was kiedy państwo mnie nie broni, moje siostry będę chronić. When the state doesn't protect me, I will defend my sisters. And for me, like that pandemic era was super difficult financially. Like as one of the children, like one of the oldest children from such family, like I never had so much support, and like my entire life I had to work by myself for everything I wanted, and also support financially my family. But this time was super tough, and suddenly like I could actually feel safe, uh, thankfully to my friends and friends of friends who were like ready to support me and host me, because like I moved out of my flat in Warsaw, moved to Berlin, but then like everything crashed. So like for a couple of months I was actually homeless, but like never slept on the street. um, and and so it was like my private revolution of care that I tried to like continue until now, because once I got like more established in Berlin, my house was always open for people who were also struggling, and somehow we built like queer neurodivergent Polish diaspora in Berlin, like quite well connected community. But where I wanted to talk about something else. That yeah, when I went to Germany, I thought that it was like sort of a rainbow paradise or anything. Um, but then the more I started to learn, the more I knew it was just like this weird this weird dialectics of East and West, and like I totally imagined that like West is I think where we have the future already, you know, like workers' rights, women's rights, queer rights, and basically it's fine. But this couple of years in Berlin taught me that like I was super wrong, and that like certain things in Poland, like community wise, are like functioning better because we already like in Poland we could never count on the state. Like communism was all about like lack of the trust toward the state that was corrupted. 90s, like wild capitalism entering this land, was also like lack of support from the state. And like one very brilliant Bosnian activist once told me, actually not personally to me, but like there was like a panel discussion like at Ljubljana Pride Festival, and like one French volunteer asked, "Do you seek any hope in the European Union?" And Biljana Ginova, this like powerful Bosnian dyke who've been like being like boxed by policemen already 20 years ago, said like no, no. And I wanted her to elaborate. She started to laugh, but she elaborated. She said that we should never seek safety or support in any in any structure other than our communities, because like for states and international communities, we're never the main subject,
Mhm.
or very rarely. And this thought actually impressed me, but I realized that yeah, like mutual aid and communal support, like personally this for me are the things that can actually bring any change. Of course we need some bills to be passed to make us safe, but this is like none of that is forever, you know. Um, so yeah, after some time in Berlin, I got to meet people from a very cute NGO called Critical Queer Solidarity Berlin, and for 2 years I'm a member of this collective, and like we have like three rules of what like three rules that like any activity like made like signed by us must fulfill. That like the things have to be queer, about solidarity, and critical on top of that. So we do things like against pinkwashing, and we teach about homo nationalism, which is like using gay agenda for racist and nationalist affairs. Okay, ask me question.
I would
Um,
ask you to just clarify that last expression, homo nationalism.
Mm.
I think
Uh,
using gay
homo-
agenda too.
yeah, I mean, for example, Miss Weidel, the head of AfD, she is she's a lesbian, and with her partner who is like I don't know, from Sri Lanka or something. They live in Switzerland and they're raising kids together. But at the same time, like she's like this woman is a head of actually a fascist party who advocates for revoking a citizenship of people naturalized in Germany. She like advocates for the possibility to like send these people back to places that they came from sometimes 20 years ago, or they even never have been to because they were born in Germany, but like got the citizenship at some point. Homo nationalism is like shortly, it's like okay, gays, you should hate Arabs because they will come here. Women, you should hate Arabs because they will come here and they will do the same things they do in their countries. They will just kill you. So we need to fortify our fortress Europe and don't let these dirty people inside. Long story. This is homo nationalism. this is weaponizing the fear against like discrimination in order to actually how to say it, just for racist reasons.
And just to add, when you ask herself, like, are you queer? She's like, no, I live with a woman. So she also doesn't really identify with the queer community in a whole. My question would be, what made you move back to Poland now? And even if you're just there for one day, how do you feel so far?
Oh, you know, coming back here was, oh, okay, maybe because now I feel fine, but I come back from time to time. Still, like Warsaw is a place I've been living in for many years of my life and like quite formative years. Um, so it's fine, yeah, this is like meeting my past selves as well on different corners of the city. Um, and now like I'm hosted by my ex-partners and my friend who live together, and like I just wanna see friends, and like it was easier to just take a flight from Brussels to Warsaw than Flixbus to Berlin, and like then I'm going to the mountains with friends. So I wouldn't consider Poland like an unsafe place. Sometimes it's still like safer than like countries with the language I don't speak. Um, but after I like 5 years ago when I moved, and like I didn't come back for many months, I started to like fully exist socially with like female pronouns and grammar form, and then coming back to Poland after like 5 or 6 months by train, I really felt like my stomach, my belly muscles were like getting super tense behind the border, and I was addressed in the masculine way by I don't know, train staff or wherever, and I realized that this few months in Berlin spent in like this funny queer ghetto gave me a lot of safety that I was struggle to experience in Poland. That like sometimes if you go out and look how you look, you need to be ready to be attacked. So then you need to be ready to like defend yourself or strike back, not necessarily physically, because this is the thing I would rather not do. I would just run away. um, but yes, like now, like I feel like I'm 30 years old, like and I feel like I'm too old to give when I was younger. Sometimes coming back to Poland would mean like being ready to be attacked. But the more I traveled, I realized that this is not like just only Polish thing, or like not just Eastern European. Like growing up here, like we're fed this like imagination that we really need to run fast and work hard to be as good as the West is. Now I don't think that, but yeah, if you look weird, you need to be ready for people like making fun out of you. Um, but in Poland, I understand all of that. In Germany, like the moment when I started to understand what people speak about me around, was the one when I felt that okay, maybe I should move out for a moment. And in Belgium, like not knowing what people say about you when you are around them, like I don't know, this brings some safety to me, to be honest.
Hmm.
So, for example, is it about your appearance, or is it something just like, for example, I imagine in Portugal it would be old ladies on the bus saying, "Oh, what is that person doing? Like that's different."
Not
Or do
really
you
old
listen to more
ladies.
aggressive comments?
Old ladies are rather cute, Like from old ladies, I would hear that I have sexy thighs or something, but rather like I don't know, young boys. Young boys are the problem, or also like sometimes people don't have to say anything. The way they look at you already makes you feel what's going on, and like Berlin is, everyone looks extremely weird in these few districts, like Neukölln, Kreuzberg, Friedrichshain. like you watch on like people who walk next to you and you see them every day on the streets are or migrants or weirdos. Like you have like Turkish mamacitas queuing to the same casa as me, and like honestly, like when I go to the Turkish store, like I never feel as safe as there, to be honest, because these people are totally different than me. Like me in my crop tops, earrings, and stuff, and these women in their scarves and with children, and we can just be buying the same veggies, and like this like who gives weird looks in Berlin? These are like semi-young white people in clean clothes, I must say. I mean, in the S-Bahn, it happened a few times that someone said something like, would call me a faggot or something, but um, yeah, or like call me a woman or something. But this happens everywhere, like or a faggot or a woman with a mustache. But like when they say woman with a mustache, I'm at least like happy that finally someone recognizes my gender correctly.
Have you ever been physically attacked?
hmm I was 20. I was coming back from the festival I've been organizing, like small art festival, and I was coming back home with a night bus with my boyfriend, and I was really in love and drunk, so we're basically talking a lot, like how much we love each other and stuff. Um, and when we left at the last stop, like two young boys were following us, and we didn't notice, but at some point they started to attack us, and yeah, I ended up like in the splash of my blood. Like thanks God, my partner was like more um, resourceful in this situation. He managed to call the security of my neighborhood, and they called the police. But um, well, like we both metabolize this event differently. Like he was really afraid to walk that way again. Like in general, like he was more traumatized than I was. For me, it was more like the moment that I can't give up, like that this can't push me back into pretending that I'm not myself, because whatever it would mean, that like I can't let people like that win over me,
Mm-hmm.
because like for me getting my like getting the right to my queerness went actually through like that was the road for pain, like I was exorcised, like my mom is a member of like a Catholic Christian community that is like quite mystical and quite radical and so on and so on. So at the day of my 18th birthday, I left my family home, and I was just like trying to push away like suicidal thoughts until my 18th birthday, um, and I basically had to like disconnect with my family and like almost physically fight with my mother to leave this house. So like for me, like this entire battle was not made to just like uh, yeah like one aggressive 18 years old boy like couldn't take it away from me. Um, so and then there was even a trial, like police found them, and I was like pretty surprised that like police actually did their job, because like I would never expect them to do that. uh, and they both were like from like very difficult social background, like abandoned, like one abandoned by his father, like being raised by grandma in a flat block on the suburbs of Warsaw, and so on and so on. And honestly, I like more than angry, I felt even sorry for them. One of them had like his 18th birthday in jail, like in the arrest, to awaiting the trial. uh, and like my older sister, like she would digest her identity in a very like rageful way, angry, and also violent for others. Like, yeah, yeah, she was like a hooligan dyke, you know. Like I was rather like this well-behaving faggot with good grades, and she would be this rebellious dyke with cigarettes and beers. Um, so you know, I felt that like it could be easily me, because like in these people who attacked us, okay, like look, I don't want to paint myself as like, you know, such a great soul or whatever, but like that it could be easily me, because like these were people who also the state failed to protect. Um, and you know, I try to not explain every time like homophobia by like class roots or anything, but I think I was just extremely lucky to like cope with what was surrounding me by like getting good grades and learning, and then going to a good high school where I've got some queer friends and a queer teacher and like philosophy classes and all of that. But I'm aware that many people didn't get it.
What was the outcome of the trial?
Um, they were meant to pay us some, I don't know how to say it, not reimbursement, but like, you know, like
Reparations.
reparations.
Damage repair. Hmm.
Yeah, and like, you know, the grandma of one of them was talking with me, and she said that they don't have this money, but they will get it from somewhere. That she can maybe get me some phone, like a used one or something. And it's like hell no, hell no. I was like, okay, please just take this boy home, and I tell him that it's really not all right to beat any people up independently on what they are or how they look like. And I was in a good financial situation, but I decided that I'm like 18 years old, that an 18 years old boy doesn't have money to like pay reparations, you know. So yeah, like my boyfriend got some like reimbursement for the stuff that got destroyed that night. um yeah, so that, and they got some like like certain amount of hours of social work.
Hmm. I have one final question if Lexi doesn't have another one. What is your relationship with religion now?
Oh, um I would say I'm quite spiritual, but the religion I believe in is actually like, for me, like sort of a spiritual practice is taking care of each other. You know,
Hmm.
like this is the thing that Christianity taught me. Uh, like, you know, staying like in your humility and in the readiness to serve others is like what Jesus told us. Like, I don't believe in like all of this like Christian mythology, even though like I know it pretty well. Uh, oh, funny as you ask. Okay, so like let's develop a bit more. Um, um, like for me, like any religion that is not embodied is fake. You know, something that like can't be based with your like physical somatic experience. Feels super fake. That like you can really then like pump this that has no connection to the ground. And for like after my like a few years ago, in the very bad moment, I tried to kill myself, and after that I got quite interested in like more interested in Slavic folklore, and who are like, and Slavic folklore is full of water spirits. These are usually women who drowned before they got married, and they are half dead and half alive, um, and like how they are created, they fail to fulfill some reproductive requirements of patriarchy, of producing and reproducing their gender and like new and like biological reproduction. And I realized that I also failed, and like that the moment like what brought me to this tragic event was actually the fact that I failed to reproduce certain uh, yeah like reproduce myself in a way that like is required by the normative world. Also with my ADHD that I'm being diagnosed with now, and like my transsexuality, and like not fit, and like and my uh, like working class origins, and so on and so on. And since then, I started to embrace water spirits and the imagination of actually being a loser, and like or like on like or like double spirited at the edge of the world. And since then, I learned to perceive people around me who are like somehow similar to me, perceive them as like mythical creatures. We have this game called Gender for Today with friends, and sometimes like just smoking, drinking a morning coffee. We consider which gender are we today, but it's not like man or woman, but like I don't know, like werewolves, vampires, ghouls, gnomes, and so on. Uh, so I would say that my relationship with the religion now, like I don't know if this is existing. Like I have some beliefs, but like I don't like. I have some spiritual practices, but these are mostly the practices of care, and I try to find narratives to describe who we are in myths, but it's far away from being codified or like put in any concrete and final structure. And it's like much more chill as well.
Yeah.
And what gender are we today?
Oh my gosh, I didn't have time to think about that yet.
I
Oh,
started thinking like, what am I today? But I don't know. For context, I identify myself as non-binary, although like it's not very expressed in my appearance. But I did come out very softly. Like I told my friends, I tell my friends sometimes, like my girlfriend, she's like, "Oh yeah, but you're a man." I'm like, "Actually, remember? No." And she's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, sorry." But I guess like visually you don't see it, and so this game, what can I be today? It's quite interesting.
yeah, this is like
But I think I'm a witch. I'm just a witch.
I don't know, one of my favorite genders was like a leaf in the mountain stream that was like leaning against a branch that was dipped in the water. So and it was like there for the whole time against the stream, but like it could be like very easily like taken with the stream, but it somehow stayed. That was one of my favorite genders these weeks.
All
Mm,
right.
if, if, if,
So yeah,
if it makes sense.
it does. I mean,
Or like
it's about feelings, so
yeah,
it's more about interpreting them.
yeah,
They always make
something
sense.
that would portray your condition quite well. That you see it and you're like, oh, this is me these days.
Yeah. So yeah, my final question, because uh, like it's the answer we try to get with all the conversation, is where do you feel, I'd say, more hopeful for the future, like for yourself and for the communities you identify yourself in? Um, is it like Belgium? Is it Germany? Do you feel any hope for Poland? Do you think things are getting better or not? Because, for example, you got one prime minister, but then you got the same type of president. So, how do you feel about the future? And
Uh,
then where do you plan to stay considering this?
hmm, you know, this is a difficult question because, as I said, the more I move, the more I realize that there is no such a thing place like queer Disneyland. And certain countries are easier to live at, thankfully, to like I don't know their working rights and being less fascist than Germany and more wealthy, like yeah, like Belgium or Netherlands. I honestly imagine myself coming back to Poland and like living in a village with my queer family. This is low key a plan because someone can inherit like an old house in the mountain, and we could like turn it into like more like a backup space. This is more like the song of the future, like in 10, 15 years. It feels weird to like to dream about coming back to Poland, but this is about the possibility. And and yeah, when I was younger, I really dreamed of like creating a queer mountain hut, because mountains and queerness, these things are rarely aligning together. And for me, like like contact with nature is crucial for, I don't know, creating like meaningful connections with people I love. The way we would just like share love and care is spending time in nature, like eating together for a week or something. Um, and like, but it doesn't definitely come from, like, I don't know, my crazy hopes about Poland. But honestly, I don't know what the safe country would be. But thinking about, like, I don't know, like, times we are in, like, with all the military situation and so on, like live and like climate change and pollution and so on. I feel that, like, living in cities is super unsustainable, and that cities soon will lose the ability to host us, and that cities are also super expensive. And moving out to the village at some point, and creating like more down to earth life. Uh, yeah, this sounds like like a scenario, but like, okay, previous prime minister was like Donald Tusk, and our neoliberal prime minister, like, he completely took over the xenophobic rhetorics of the previous government. And like, and like people from AfD say that, like, they should actually learn from him, And I don't believe in queer liberation without seeing that, like, this is all like struggle of all of us. That the, like, queer community in Poland, or like gay community in Poland, not speaking up when there is like xenophobic attitudes raising against Ukrainians, or like or like, I don't even mention brown people, because like, Islamophobia in Europe is real. And like, for me, like, as a queer person, I can't feel safe somewhere where, like, other people are denied safety or help. So what is happening on, like, Polish-Belarusian border actually is triggering and sad and disgusting, uh, and simply criminal. That, like, I don't know if you're familiar with the topic. I know this is like another topic, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
the illegal pushbacks at the border, and like the huge fence built partially from European money. Um, so yeah, again, as I said earlier, I don't believe we can seek safety in any other structure, like in any structure other than our communities.
Communities.
And for me, it's rather about finding a safe place in some country where I could establish, like, at least one, like, center for uh, yeah, for having it, for providing stay and food for people who need it, or just, retreats and holidays, and like safe life for me and people who would live there. Mm, yeah.
Okay.
You
To
have experienced so much in your life. It's crazy. I feel like, and we only got parts of it, so I feel like we're covering 3 lives here. So thank you so much for joining and for participating in this project. This is really nice. Thank you.
Thank you, good luck with everything. I'm glad I could have been useful.
I think
Yeah.
it was a really interesting perspective because it's called Voting with Your Life, and we are trying to explore where is the better place to live in terms of oppressed people as well. And maybe the answer is we have to make our own place because the state is not here for us, or not here for most people. And maybe the hut in the mountain is the way to go.
Yeah,
Hmm.
or like,
So
yeah, we keep fantasizing with our friends, whenever we get to know that someone will inherit some, old house somewhere. We think how to how to build their base camp for apocalypse, or even, or like, do we live in the apocalypse? This is the question.
mhm.
Mm, I think we a bit do.
Well, but it's it's as the final line of Albert Camus' book, "One must imagine Sisyphus happy." and we also must imagine that we will be happy even though the struggles are on and on and on. So thank you for sharing with us, and well, we'll meet around maybe. Um, I
You
plan to
both
go to
live
the
in
north
Berlin,
of.
right?
Sorry,
You both live in Berlin, right? Or
no, no, no.
Oh,
I'm from Porto, Portugal,
ah,
and
but I
I'm
do plan to
from
go to the north
Germany.
of Europe eventually.
I'm from Germany originally, but I live in Italy.
okay, 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 guys. So good. Fingers crossed.
For you too.
And thank you for listening to my yap session.
Thank you so much. And thank you
Thank you.
for listening and watching, everyone. See you next time.
See you next episode.
Bye bye.